Alright, this will be for the con assignment, simplify square roots with variables. So we already did something similar to this. Okay, but now we're introducing a variable. So we have the square root of 108 times a to the 6th. Okay, and we can really simplify those separately. We could do the square root of 108 and times the square root of a to the 6th. Alright. And now let's do the 108 part first, because we did this before. Alright, remember to make the tree. Alright, I know 108 is an even number, so I'm going to start with a 2. 108 divided by 2 is 54. Okay, and that's an even number. So I'll start with a 2 again. 54 divided by 2 is going to be 27. Okay, I know you can divide 27 by 3. So 27 is the same as 3 times 9. And 9 is the same as 3 times 3. Okay, so I can't break that up any further. Just circle the last number on each one. Alright, so in place of 108, I'm going to do the square root of 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, and every time it's the same number times itself, you can factor it out. So 2 times 2, the square root of 2 times 2 is just 2. The square root of 3 times 3 is just 3. And we're left with a square root of 3. Now, as far as the a to the 6th is concerned, what times what will give a to the 6th? Well, remember we said before, when you multiply exponents, you add them. So a to the 3rd times a to the 3rd is going to be a to the 6th, right? As long as the base is the same, you just add the exponents. So the square root of a to the 6th is just going to be a to the 3rd. Okay, so let's simplify that. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, we have a to the 3rd outside of the square root, so we'll just write it there. And then we only have square root of 3 left over. So that's it. 6a to the 3rd times radical 3. So we write 6a, hit the exponent button to the 3rd, click it again, then hit the square root button and type 3. 6a to the 3rd radical 3. Alright. Here we have the square root of 200 y to the 4th. Alright, so we're going to do the square root of 200 times the square root of y to the 4th. Okay. So let's break up the 200. That's an even number. Okay, you can start with wherever you want, but I'm going to start with a 2. 200 divided by 2 is just 100. Okay, and I'm going to stop there because I already know the square root of 100 is just 10. So in place of radical 200, I'm going to write radical 2 times 100. Okay, that's the first part. And the square root of y to the 4th, again, when you multiply numbers with exponents, if the base is the same, you just add the exponents. Okay, so what plus what would give us 4? Well, that's just 2, right? Y squared times y squared is y to the 4th. So the square root of y to the 4th is just going to be a y squared. Alright, that's not under the radical, okay? Square root of y to the 4th is y squared. Okay? So underneath the square root, we have 2 times 100. I know the square root of 100 is just 10, because 10 times 10 is 100. Okay, and we also have y squared outside of the square root. And the only thing we have left over is the radical 2. So that's it. 10y squared radical 2. So type 10 y, hit the exponent button, squared, click it again, and do radical 2. Alright. So here we have radical 52 x to the 4th. So I'm going to do radical 52 and radical x to the 4th. I'll do them separate. Alright, let's start with the 52. It's an even number, so I'll do 2. 52 divided by 2 is 26. Even number again. So that's going to be 2. 26 divided by 2 is 13. Okay, I can't break up 13 or 2, so that's it. You circle the last number. Alright. So for radical 52, I'm going to write 2 times 2 times 13. And the square root of x to the 4th, well, x, if we do x times x equals x to the 4th, what exponent would work here when we added it to get 4? Well, that would just be 2. Okay, x squared times x squared is x to the 4th, because 2 plus 2 is 4. So the square root of x to the 4th is just x squared. Okay, and that's outside the square root. Alright, so under the square root, if you have the same number multiplied by itself, you just factor it out. The square root of 2 times 2 is just 2. We have our x squared. And the only thing left over is radical 13. Okay, 2x squared. And then radical 13. Alright, one more. 80b squared. So I'll do radical 80. And radical b squared. Alright. For the 80, we have 2 times 40. And then we have 2 times 20. And then we have 2 times 10. And then we have 5 times 2. Okay, I can't break up the 5. So circle the last number. Alright. In place of the square root of 80, 2 times 2 times 2. And then 5 times 2. Alright. Square root of b squared, that's easy, because we know that b times b is b squared. So the square root of b squared is just going to be b. Alright, so factoring out of this square root, we have 2 times 2, that's a 2, and again we have 2 times 2, so it's times 2 again. We have b outside of the square root, so it's times b. And the only thing left over under the square root is the 5. So 2 times 2 is 4, times b, radical 5. 4b radical 5.